A lot of performers that I've seen are like phenomenal at whatever instrument it may be, but they don't know how to teach like at all. So not only do you have to learn how to get better as a performer, but you also need to learn how to teach. Both of those things need to be in alignment to like actually get a position as like a tech. You can learn how to perform by like going and marching, like in a WGI group or DCI group. You can learn how to teach by actively analyzing how are they teaching. Why are they doing it this way as opposed to another way? If another drum tech were here, what would they do differently? What would I do differently if I were in front of the drum line? What other things are they not talking about? Why are they not talking about that, etc.? So you can like ask all these different questions while you're there. So not only can you get better as a performer when marching on those groups, but you can also actively look at any form of instruction, whether it's in a drumline context or in a music context or even outside of that context, and try and figure out like the ways that they're teaching and how you might be able to apply that. Odds are you're not going to finish like performing with a group and then just immediately start teaching there with zero experience. Even if you're an amazing performer, you still got to prove yourself as an educator. So it's going to take baby steps of like, I'm going to teach privately, or I'm going to teach at like the high school that I graduated from, or whatever. Like you got to start somewhere with not just the performing, but also the teaching side of things. Degrees definitely help as somebody who's got them. It definitely has made me a better educator, but they're not necessary for that type of teaching, but they will make you a much better educator. Like you don't need to get certified as a music educator to like become a drum tech or something. Whereas in order for me to teach in a K-12 classroom, I needed that certification. In this drumming tips playlist right now, there's like 6 minutes shy of 24 hours of tips on not only the drumming side of things, but also the teaching side of things. So if it says and other drumming tips, that means that there are tips related to like performing. But if it says and other teaching tips, there are tips about like how to get better as an educator that can help you out. But even these like drumming ones where I'm like showing you how to do a technique, you can still look at that and go, why did Jared teach it that way as opposed to another way? Or if you look at like some of these videos, like there might be something that I talk about in drumming tip number 139 that I also talked about in a different way in like drumming tip number 66 or something. So if you are able to compare different ways that people teach something, that can also help you to improve your own teaching. If you watch a video of one person teaching traditional grip, another person teaching a traditional grip, and then another person teaching traditional grip, and you ask, well, why did they do it that way? Why did they not do it this way? They're not all going to be the same. There's so many different ways that you can approach teaching. There might even be ways that you're not seeing. Like a lot of the drumming lessons that I've got on my channel like has a lot of goofiness and sense of humor that I don't see other content creators doing in the drumming space. That's just because that's more of my personality. This is how you can learn to teach better without actually going to school for it. It's just constantly reflecting on what is working for you and your peers from a student standpoint that the instructors are doing really well, and what is not working, and going, this is the kind of instruction that I want to model or emulate, or this is the kind of instruction that I want to avoid. There's no specific timeline that I can give you with that, because you have to focus on not just the performing side of things, but also the teaching side of things. Drumming tip number 134, it's 11 minutes of me answering the question of like, how quickly can you build the world-class chops? The ideas that I talk about this in terms of how long it takes to get good at performing is also applicable to teaching. The more you teach and the more you reflect on it, the better you're going to get at it, and the more likely you're going to get one of those jobs for DCI or WGI, whatever you want to be able to do. But it takes time. So like for me, my senior year of high school, I started teaching privately and started teaching the drumline that I was on because our drum tech left. And so I was the one who was doing it. I started teaching 7 days a week and was just constantly getting better at it. When I was teaching full time in a classroom setting, I was also teaching part-time at night at a drumline. And then I was also teaching on the weekends, like all day Saturday, all day Sunday. I had like 25 students that I was teaching. And so I was just booked just like 7 days a week, nonstop teaching. So my teaching accelerated faster than somebody who's just doing it like 2 nights a week. So the more you do, either the teaching or the performing, the better you're going to get at it faster than other people. Be patient with it. It takes time and a lot of failure to be able to get good at performing, get good at teaching, and just constantly reflect on the little incremental improvements that you can make after each one of the times that you teach, whether it's like a private lesson or in front of a group or whatever, and just go, what worked well? What can I improve? What do I want to reinforce? What do I want to refine? Keep asking those questions every single time you do it and try and actively get better. Same thing with your performing. Every time you sit down with a pad and sticks, go into it with an intention. I'm going to get better at this thing today. And then at the end of that practice session, reflect on, did I actually get better at that? Yes or no? What do I want to work on next time? Do the same thing with your teaching. Go into it going, what do I want to improve as an educator before I start teaching this thing? And then when you're done with it, what went well? What can I improve? That'll help you out. But it's going to take years, like years to get good at either the performing or the teaching thing. So don't expect it to be like, well, I watched all like almost 24 hours of the Q&A and now suddenly I'm like a professional drummer. High five. Not going to happen. Give it time and be patient with yourself, but have that like end goal in mind and just know that it's going to take a lot of time to get there and a lot of effort. And it is worth it. Like having done a lot of different things with my career, all the things that I've spent like years working hard at have paid off in ways that I never expected and were worth the efforts, as difficult as they were, whether it was the doctorate or like what I'm doing now with like this YouTube content or whatever. Like all of them paid off in the long run, and it will likely pay off for you in ways that you don't expect if you put that effort in. And it may open some doors. Like I started teaching computer science after getting 3 degrees in music education. Like that's a weird path, but I went into it because of just like that curiosity and letting it kind of head in new directions in life. I'm going to try and be polite with this. Some of the worst instruction I've ever seen is from some of the best performers I've ever seen in my life. And vice versa. I've seen some phenomenal educators who like aren't very good at performing, but like they're really good at being able to like explain the concepts that they do know how to do or do understand. It's not like a guaranteed, once you're able to like perform at a certain level, then suddenly you're gonna be really good at teaching it. No. The movie Whiplash like is a good example of what some of the instruction I've seen is like. Obviously it's like a Hollywood version of it, but I've seen professors like that who are just jerks. Or I've seen people throw stuff at their students because they just don't know how to teach their way out of a paper bag. Like they're really good at performing, but they can't teach at all. Before I get to the next tip, I just want to say really quickly that you can find literally thousands of hours of free drumming play-alongs and drumming tips in the link at the top of the description or by going into my home tab of YouTube. I'm going to push back on the framing of the question a little bit. There is no quick when it comes to developing skills. It takes a lot of patience and effort. You're not only training your hands to be able to play something and developing like the mechanical side of things, you're training your brain, and you have to keep coming at it every single day. Basically reinforcing your brain. Hey, this is important. Hey, I want to learn this. Hey, you got to memorize this. Hey, let's get better at it. And as you keep pushing it over and over, and you're pushing your body and your brain to like do things that you currently cannot do, your body adapts to it. And so that takes a long time. Like think about people building muscles or losing weight. It's not like all of a sudden, oh, I put a weekend into working out and lifting and then suddenly you're just like Mr. Olympia. It's not going to happen. So the same thing with your chops. You got to be really patient with it. That being said, I do have resources to help you out with that. So if you go to the home tab here, any of these resources can help you build your chops. I would avoid the chop section. Ironically, the way that you build chops is by a relentless pursuit of focusing your technique and refining the fundamentals. There's a reason why there's over 500 technique exercises and there's only 100. Sorry, my dog just came in, just stared at me. There's only 100 chop exercises in here. What I'd recommend doing is taking a look at, in the drumming lessons playlist, at the very bottom, there's this video called You're Chopping Out Wrong. Highly recommend taking a look at that. It talks about how people, when they play, they just like try and play faster than they can, and it ends up slowing them down in the long run. What I recommend doing instead is you start slow, like 40 beats a minute, and then go up one click at a time. So play through a whole exercise at 40 and then go up to 41. And then to 42, etc. So this process takes a lot of time to actually get back up to your performance tempo. And then once you get to the performance tempo, you record yourself, you analyze it, and then you go back to 40 again. So this is a very methodical approach for building chops, but there's a ton more videos in this drumming lessons playlist and the drumming tips playlist as well in the tips and lessons section of the home tab. But there's literally thousands of exercises that can like help you to be able to build your chops. But what I recommend doing, the majority of your time should be on technique exercises. Your next order priority should be on grid variations, specifically rudiment on 1 for like diddle, flam drag, cheese, flam 5. Those are the fundamentals that you should focus on. Don't worry about the wacky, weird stuff. And then like 10, at most 20% of your time should be on the chop stuff. So don't learn snare breaks, don't learn chopping sprees. That's not your priority if you want to actually march snare. You want to learn how to be able to put a rudiment in any context with any accent permutation by doing grid variations, and you want to be able to play clean consistently. So there's another video that I'm going to give as homework, and then I'll stop giving you homework. This one, stop practicing snare breaks. It explains why I don't recommend playing snare breaks and why you need to focus on the technique stuff. And it talks about if you're playing a roll exercise like triple a diddle, if you're 95% accurate, you're going to make almost 13 mistakes. If you're on a snare line with 8 people, that's 100 mistakes per rep. per rep. So your consistency needs to be at least 99.9%, because if you're 99% accurate on a snare line, you'll hear 20 mistakes per rep. When you watch the world-class groups, they don't make 20 mistakes in the finals a lot. So the consistency is the most important thing that you need to focus on if you want to actually march snare. And if you don't believe me, that's fine. I just did the thing that people want to do. I was the center snare. So sometimes people come in, yeah, I don't really want to do that. All right, don't. You don't have to make snare, that's fine. Be patient with it though. This year, I'm working on double kick on drum kit. I'm planning the whole year to work on this just to get it to a moderate level. And I spent the last like 3 years prior to that working on limb independence. So you got to expand the timeline, the horizon for it. One of my favorite stories to share, drum kit professor that I took lessons from, Don Moyle at Arizona State University. He said he spent an entire year on one measure, one groove to make that one groove sound the way he wanted. It took him a year. And we're talking a dude who is like literally teaches Steve Gadd's son. So he's kind of good. If he's going to spend a year on something, like expand the timeline, the horizon. There's a really unfortunate trend that I see a lot of social media content where it's like, here's the one thing you need to learn to become a pro drummer. And it's like, there's not one thing. You need to practice, if you want to say one thing, like all day, every day to become a pro at it. It's usually coming from people who are trying to sell you something, sell you a course, sign up for my app, whatever, a book. All those people are just trying to get you to buy the thing and are misleading, maybe intentionally, maybe unintentionally. Anybody who's trying to tell you this is the one thing that you need to do to unlock your performing and to get better, they're misleading you on that. It takes a lot of time and effort. And I say this as somebody, like, I taught graduate level course on skill acquisition and expertise for music educators, like talking about how do students and we as educators develop expertise. So I've read the research on it, decades of research on it. I've spent a lot of time talking about this from like a research standpoint, not from just like, well, this is what worked for me, therefore it'll work for you. Or this is what worked for my students, therefore it'll work for you. No. This is not only from my perspective, my students' perspectives, but also from like a meta perspective of the research on expertise in music, in sports. All of it points to you got to work your butt off like quite a bit. So don't look for the like, how do I do this as fast as possible? Instead, you need to like figure out how do I be patient to realize this is going to take me months just to even make a little bit of progress and years to make a whole lot of progress with it. It's worth the efforts, most definitely worth the efforts, but don't buy into the whole, I did this for like an hour and then suddenly it doubled my hand speed. I doubt that.